So, welcome to Aveste Origins number 3. This is a really exciting episode because we've got our first ever brand owner joining us today. His name's Tom Jeavons. He's the founder of Solace Clothing, and they joined us in July this year, right?
That's right, yeah.
And when they joined, we were so excited. We just loved the fit of the clothes. We loved the colours that they had. And I remember I actually remember jumping with joy when Tom joined Aveste. So I'm really excited to tell you guys a bit more about his story. It wasn't easy. You know, he had to graft his way up, first of all, to get into the fashion industry. Then within fast fashion, he worked for 5 or so years. And then he's now gone full time on his own brand, Solace Clothing. So we're going to get into that. We're going to understand the stories of how he got to that point. And yeah, we're going to dive straight into it, aren't we, mate?
So ladies and gentlemen, we bring you Mr. Thomas Jeavons.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Really excited to talk to you boys about everything.
Don't worry, mate. I have to say, you know, I was looking at your Instagram again last night, and every single picture I look at Tom, he's just got like an outfit that I just want. I'm super jealous actually that I don't have a wardrobe as beautiful as yours, mate. So I think let's get straight into this and explain to people, you know, why you started Solace and what gave you that confidence to sort of, you know, go and do your own thing.
It was a weird situation when I started Solace, really. I got told that I might have been getting made redundant at my role at Misguided. I was working there on the menswear brand called Menace. So it's a bit of a difficult situation. There's been a lot of stuff in the media about what happened with Misguided. And it just wasn't a very good time to be there. So I was thinking, right, if this is going, I need to think of something else that's going to make me some money and, you know, I can survive off. And I've always wanted to do it, but I feel like this was something that gave me a good push. It was kind of like fight or flight. It was scary, definitely scary, but I just thought there's no time like now. And yeah, I'm just really glad I did it, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to end up being a very good decision to be fair, the way that it's going. So for people that don't know anything about the collection and haven't seen the brand before, can you like give a very quick summary of like, you know, the essence of why you created Solace and then also what you create?
Yeah, so name it as British contemporary streetwear. I kind of put it as like there's 4 pillars to the brand. It's quality, fit, value, and palette. Just I like giving to the people just a very much like a head to toe outfit, basically, you know, molded together by one specifically chosen color or Pantone. Because within my personal life, I'm very much a color match dresser. You know what I mean? Like I love having a bit of like my brown matched to my socks or my t-shirt. It's little tiny things like that just brings an outfit together. So yeah, I was just wanting to kind of put that out to the public. And when you check the brand out, it's quite a simplistic brand. There's not too much going on in terms of like graphics and all that. I just wanted to keep it very minimalistic and very wearable. You know, concentrate on those 4 things that I just said. You know, gives you a quality product that I hope when the customer gets it in their hands, they see that.
I want to talk about fit, actually, Tom. So Josh and I would probably say fit is probably the most important thing when it comes to buying clothes. Obviously, everyone is different shapes and sizes, right? How do you make sure fit is good for as many people as possible when it comes to, let's just start with t-shirts, for example. How do you approach that?
That is a difficult thing. I say personally, I'm a bit of a stocky boy. I'm a bit of a bigger boy, and I always find that other places regular fit ain't my regular. But I've just, I mean, with how clothes have been going over the past few years, oversized is such a big trend, and it comes and goes. But I think it's just a mainstay within the industry now. But I've really seen the boxy fit come out massively in the last 2 years, which I personally love. Like I absolutely love the boxy fit because you find when you buy oversized tees that are much longer in the body and just too long, it basically becomes a dress. Yep. So for the Solace, when I was, the first thing I did for Solace was the tees. Like, it was my main thing. I just wanted to have the perfect oversized but boxy fit so that even if someone was looking for the XL, it wasn't going to become a dress. But then, as you say, trying to cater to as many people as possible, it becomes hard because all I have done is oversized and boxy. I haven't done a regular. I probably will never do like a slim fit or a skinny fit. But again, that's kind of trying to figure out what your brand is kind of catering to. I don't think I'm catering. I don't think the style of the brand caters to a skinny fit or a slim fit.
No muscle fits. Yeah, because like Josh.
Nah, well, I haven't been to the gym in a while, so I don't think I'll be doing any muscle fits.
No vests anytime soon. No.
Well, you never know. That's the thing. You can never say never as well. I never, with the brand, I never want to say we're never going to do this and we're never going to do that, because fashion is so cyclical and it changes all the time. That like the amount of things that I used to hate and didn't think were cool in fashion that are now like so in style. It's mad. So I never want to say never. So you may see a vest in the future. We don't know.
Yeah, we are quite particular on our fits, aren't we? And it's so interesting because you can wear an oversized t-shirt and just go size down, can't you? Do you find people do that, Tom? Like people are going to you and just going, "I'm just going to go size down for it to fit better."
Yeah, like because I try to talk to as many customers as possible, and the most thing you get asked is, "What size should I get?" And I always go, "What's your favorite t-shirt?" and what size do you normally wear? I mean, you saying about sizing down, I size up on loads of stuff, like, because I love an oversized fit, and I'll know that, like, if I go for a silly, like, 2XL, I know that's going to be massive, but it's going to be the fit I want, but yeah, I think when shopping, it's always good to know the measurements of your favourite fitting t-shirt, I think. I know I've done that. I've literally laid down my favourite t-shirt, measured it pit to pit, body length, and been like, okay, I'm hoping that the brand's measurements on site are as true as possible, and then if I should hopefully match up, because I'm not always, but I know so many times I've looked at a brand and I've gone and I've looked at their size and I go, the pit to pit's not going to fit the way I want it, so I haven't even tried to buy it. So.
Yeah, so beyond that, is there something that we can help people? Because this is a problem that so many people have, right?
Shopping online,
like actually
challenge.
finding a t-shirt that fits.
And people like us, know the measurements of the t-shirts that we like you just said. But I think the general punter definitely doesn't. So, how can you give people the information in a really informed way without them having to go and measure their favorite t-shirt, such that it makes the buying process easier? And it's a problem we've not solved yet.
No,
but it's the challenge.
No, how are you doing it, Tom?
I think just trying to have as much conversation with the customer as possible, and really trying to get down to like exactly what type of fit they're looking for and where they like it to hang on the body and how they like their sleeves. Do they like them really wide? Because I know that the sleeves on RTs are quite wide when they sit on the body. But also, like you said, just trying to give that information up front as possible, like having the models' measurements and making sure that they're fully correct, because Tony, who does the modelling for us at the moment, he's 6 foot, 6'1", so he's a bit on the taller side. So and he's wearing a medium when he could wear a small and it would be fine as well. But the way we wanted it to look on the shoot, it's a difficult one. It's something that, especially online retailers like myself, have to navigate, because we don't really want returns. That's kind of a cost to the business that is, hard to take on. But for me, it's always just making sure that the customer's just happy. That's number one, really.
I want to go a little bit further back, and I want to reverse time slightly. You were working within the industry, within the fashion industry itself. What made you think to do this collection yourself? Like, how did you, and then also, how did you physically start from scratch? Because there's so many people out there right now that I'm sure would be interested in starting their own business, whether that's clothing or otherwise. What were the actual initial steps?
Yeah, and there's one question I'll add as well. We often get asked for, some people have messaged us on Instagram saying they want to start their own clothing business. And, setting up the website and stuff is not the bit that scares them. It's the actually sourcing of the clothes. So it'd be great if you could touch on that as well, without giving away all your secrets, obviously.
Yeah, tell us all your secrets, Tom.
It's a very loaded question. I feel like I'm just going to give absolutely everything to you. Like I used to play around with brands in my head. I'd be like, if I had a brand, what would it be named? I used to have Infinite, which is a terrible name, and I'm very glad I never went ahead with that, because that just sounds awful. Sorry if anyone's brand is called Infinite out there, by the way. I don't mean to be rude, but I used to Infinite. It had like two OK signs together like that to make an infinite sign. And I was like, this is amazing, this is going to sell like loads. And I remember I bought like a Gildan t-shirt and like printed it on myself with like heat transfer, which is like the worst method you could possibly print onto a t-shirt with. And it looks dreadful, and I was like, okay, I'll put that to bed for a little bit. But then as I got further and further in like working in fast fashion and kind of seeing how all the mechanics that go into a brand and like all the hard work that people put in fast fashion, I think that's an aspect that people don't see. It's the amount of hard work because fast fashion brands get a lot of bad press, and there are a lot of things that they could be doing better, but the people behind the actual brands are such hard workers, and I've met so many talented people through working in fast fashion that have really just helped me with my own personal like information about clothing. So yeah, I'd been toying around, and Solace, I can't remember exactly where, but I know I had Solace in the tank for about a year, like that name. And I've still got it on my iPad now. I've got a document with 200 different fonts of Solace, literally just trying to find the perfect one. That was a big thing to me, because I want the logo to be something that can be put on any garment and not look overbearing. It's very simplistic and it's just nice font and type. So yeah, just going through names. Okay, I've got the name. What do I actually want it to look like? And I think making it quite a minimalistic brand has helped in terms, because I do everything myself. Like I'm a bit of a one-man band at the moment. I do all the designs. I do everything basically. But as soon as you got that brand in your head, I was like, okay, cool. What do I actually want it to be? What products do I want to sell? And I'm a massive cap person, so caps is quite an easy thing to get into. There's so many places to source caps from. There's you can do it in the UK, you can do it overseas in China. There's so many places you can go and try and find exactly what you want. That was one of the biggest processes really, was trialing samples and making sure that it was exactly what I wanted, especially for like fit at the peak. And I'm quite picky about like the back of the cap as well, like whether it's a snapback or a strap. Like I never want to use Velcro. I feel like that's like a really cheap aspect of a cap if you were using it. And yeah, just tinkering with little design bits and colours and everything. And then yeah, the amount of t-shirts that I bought, like sampling, and just try and get the fit and the quality right, like as in the one I wanted to use, because that took ages. Like a lot of return. I paid a lot to Royal Mail in the past year returning stuff to companies, but it's worth it. You got to go through trial and error. I think that's a massive thing with a clothing brand, is trial and error.
I want to go back, Tom, because you say you're doing a bit of everything. How are you going from one moment having to think about the business side of what you do to then go, oh, now I need to be a creative and a designer, and the next moment I need to go, right, I need to figure out where my next collection is going to be supplied from.
Then an Instagram advertiser, then then an accountant.
Yeah.
How are you doing it, and how do you manage to like get the knowledge to be able to do all of those things? Because bloody hell, that's a lot of experience you've had to accumulate to do that.
It's learning day by day. Like I when I started this, yes, I knew a little bit about clothes because I worked in the industry, but I'm not a businessman. Although I did take business management and entrepreneurship at uni, which has finally, it looks like it's coming into play now. It's only taken me 7 years to get there, but there's a lot of juggling, and there's a lot of, like I said, learning every single day. There's something to learn every day. I'm learning about ads now, and I'm learning about production overseas, and working with international suppliers.
So I want to go back to, again, something that Tom just said there, and mentioning his degree.
Oh yeah,
Jake and I Jake and I obviously we just filmed a podcast. Episode 2 of Aveste Origins was all about going to uni, and I know, Tom, we've had a chat about this as well. I'm really interested in your perspective, right? Do you value what you learn at uni, and have you learned more since leaving university than you did when you were there, in terms of running this business?
So I would want, if you in the position and the opportunity to go to uni, I would go. I think the social aspect of it all is amazing. Like I wouldn't say I was a different person before I went to uni, but like I was able to grow in confidence and kind of like find myself a little bit more. Like, and you meet so many, like, living in your hometown, it becomes a bit of a bubble sometimes, and you're with the same people over and over again, which is great because they're your friends that you've known from day one. But when you meet so many different people. You can gain so many different perspectives on things. Yeah, I think that part of it's invaluable, really. Like, I'd say, I met my girlfriend there.
It's worth it.
I met all my best mates there. Well, for some reason she's still with me. But I know from your podcast, it's whether the actual educational side is there. And I think, looking back at it, I wish I'd done fashion. I wish I'd done fashion management. My girlfriend did do it, and like what she learnt there is something that I could have, put into this from the start. Instead, I learned it through doing my job. But yeah, I think that's an important thing of uni as well, is making sure that when you're going there, yes, you're going there for meet people and socialise and have a good time, but make sure that the course that you're doing is something that you can at least put into your life going forward. But like, also know that whatever you do pick isn't what you have to do going forward. Just because I did business management didn't mean I was just going to go and sit in an office. And
Does your girlfriend work in fashion now as well?
my girlfriend is a visual merchandiser for Primark,
Oh, cool.
so one of the biggest fashion retailers in the world. So basically, when you go to the store, how the store looks is her. She's making everything look amazing on the mannequins, and she works in the Manchester store, which is, I believe, the second biggest store in the UK. So yeah, she's got a big job on her hands. But yeah, it's nice that we both work in fashion as well, because we can kind of like bounce. I say I'm a one-man band. I'm only as strong as the woman behind me. You know what I mean? Like she's well, yeah, whatever. I bounce so many ideas off her. I always go to her for opinions, and she helps on the shoots. She's there doing so many things that I couldn't really do without her. I think that's a massive thing for running a fashion business, is the people around you as well. If you go into it thinking that you can do everything by yourself, like, you're going to run yourself into the ground. Like with you guys, you have each other, which is great. Like, you have a partnership there, and you really bounce off each other and like help each other out in situations, which is great. Definitely need
that. We're super lucky. We're super lucky. I couldn't have done this without Jake, and it's just and I really needed his support in various times.
We have opposing skill sets, not opposing, but complementary skill sets, I would say.
But even beyond just skills, though, just having someone there to bounce ideas off and bring you up when you're feeling down or whatever, it's important.
Definitely.
And Tom, I think again, you are a one-man band, as you say, but you've got this support network around you. Are there other people that you want to shout out? I know you've got a crew that you work with on all of your shoots that are an amazing crew, and there are other people that are helping you out. So yeah, is there anyone else that you want to sort of shout out and say thanks to? Because I know you've got a big old team there.
Yeah, it's weird to say like one man band, but really, like, you gotta shout out everyone. Like your suppliers. Like, I work with someone called Joel in Manchester, who's a print, and he's worked in the print industry for years. Like, I think he's 20 years in, and he's amazing. Like, the reason why the print on the product's so good is because of him. So I definitely want to shout out him. In terms of, shout out Izzy, my girlfriend, who helps with everything just behind the scenes, feeding me, keeping me sane. Although I do a lot of the cooking, to be fair, as well. So in terms of how the product actually looks, I work with Lewis and Sean. Can I shout out their Instagrams?
Yeah, please do. We're going to get them on the podcast.
I know.
Let's promote them as much as we can.
Yeah, I know. I know they'd be down to talk, because they're amazing at what they do. They're kind of like a duo act in terms of that. Lewis does videography and Sean does photography, but they also know a bit about either side, and they're just a great duo to have. So with this next shoot that will be coming out, and also the last shoot with the Cobalt and the Forest collections, that's all down to them. Like, obviously I'm there kind of directing the whole thing. I'm kind of like, this is what I want it to look like, but they're coming with their ideas, and they're like, well, maybe we should try this or this. The whole Cobalt collection, as in the shots for for that, wasn't my idea. They put that together in terms of the lighting and where it wasn't with the background. I also worked with a girl called Natalie, who shot for the last collection as well. She did amazing. And the guy you'll see in all the clothes is Tony, who's our model.
Oh, okay.
Big shout out to Tony. He's an amazing guy. He's just not only is he just modelling the clothes, he's a great personality to have on the set as well. Like, we're just trying to like have a fun atmosphere. The shoot days are you know, the most fun but most stressful days of the brand is you kind of see everything come to life, but you also, all right, I need to, get everything sorted and get everything shot and make it look the way we want to look it.
How did you find him? Is it a friend or?
So another shout out I should give is to a girl called Elle, who I met at Misguided, and she's a stylist there. And we were on the tram back from Misguided one day. I'm looking for a new model. Do you know anyone? Because she's just within that industry. And the first person she showed me was Tony. And as soon as I saw Tony, I was like, he has a smile. He has an infectious smile. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to use him. My parents, like the last shoot we did was in my dad's music group.
Yes, that looked awesome, by the way.
Like next level.
I'm really interested in the shoot actually, because I'm more interested in your process of how you actually get to that point, right? Because for context for everyone listening and watching, Tom's shoots, I would say, are some of the best that we've seen. The photography, like all of the imagery that he uses is absolutely top notch. So, you've done a series of shoots now. How do you, one, find the right locations, two, get everyone down there and make sure that it's all running smoothly, and three, create that sort of amazing imagery that you then are able to use across your socials and on the site?
I'll tell you, it's stressful trying to get everyone. It's being a manager, isn't it? It's trying to just make sure that everyone's there at the right time, and everyone's got their. I mean, thankfully, like Lewis and Sean, they've got all their equipment. They've got all the expertise on that side. They know what they're doing. So couldn't thank them enough for what they bring to the table. And in terms of location, you'll see in the first shoot, it was quite simplistic. It was literally just a plain cream background with a stool. And that was like a good starting point for the brand. I didn't want it to be too grandiose. I just wanted it to be like, here's the clothes. These are the fits. This is what we're trying to, this is what we're trying to sell to people as the brand. And then one of the days I was just sat in a cafe and I looked over and there was this massive big forest green velvet curtain. And I was like, that's interesting. That's exactly the colour I'm kind of looking at the moment. So maybe that might work. And thankfully, I knew someone who worked at the cafe, and I could get it rented out for an afternoon. Personally, I think that's the strongest looking stuff to date. Is the stuff on the green curtain. It looks so nice. It looks so premium. For the third one is my dad's music room, which is blessed to be in my house. So didn't actually have to pay my parents to rent that out, which was nice. Although they probably would have liked to offer a fee. Yeah, it's like a 20,000 record strong collection that he's been doing since he was 10. And it's like the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Like Tony, when he came and saw it the first time, literally, I mean, I've got it on video of him just looking at it and kind of just going, like a kid on Christmas.
Wow.
So I come from quite a creative family. And I guess with Solace, I was like, okay, I need to kind of bring something to the table now because everyone's kind of showing me up. But if anything, that like when COVID happened and we had lockdown, we had a FaceTime every Sunday and we had a record club. And I remember saying in that, I was like, oh, I might be starting something myself soon. I might, take a leap of faith. And they were all so supportive about it. And yeah, probably one of the pushing factors to actually go and do it. And just support around you is so important, I think.
I think there are a few kind of lockdown let's call them lockdown babies or lockdown businesses, so to speak, wasn't there? And we were obviously one of them. It's interesting to think we were probably all beavering away at the same time, in our houses or our bedrooms, trying to start a business at the same time, but we never knew each other then.
Yeah, it is super weird. I wish we'd known Tom earlier because it would have been nice
the first one
to get you on earlier. So Tom, one of the questions I have is, obviously you're in the midst of creating this business, and I know we've been sort of talking about what you do and how you are a one-man band and how you have to do a bit of everything. What I'm really interested to ask you is, what's your advice for people that are trying to start off and do their own thing? So what would you recommend people do if they are trying to start their own clothing business right now? Like, what would you say to do and to look up?
Do your research, look up, like if you've got a question, don't wing things, like really look into it. If you're looking to do a certain type of product, do your research on that product, and don't just go strong-headed into stuff, because I know I've done that in the past and it's ended up badly, because you need to take a step back from things a little bit and just be like, okay, what am I actually trying to achieve here? And although I've worked in fashion, my knowledge is so little compared to so many people, and I'm still, you still learn from other people every day. So yeah, also do research, take advice from people, and it should hopefully go all right for you.
How would you say, there's obviously a lot of clothing brands out there now. How do you think people can differentiate themselves?
I mean, that's probably a question I'm asking myself with the brand all the time. Is like, how can I make myself different from the others? And I think when you're a smaller brand, is being able to have that more direct line of communication with the customer is really important at the start, and like almost looking to try and build like a bit of a community. Brands like Represent and Cold Buxton do an incredible job on that, where they have literally built a community of people who are always going to come back to the product and rely. They're like, okay, Cold Buxton's my brand. I absolutely love it. I'm going to swear by their stuff, and I'm always going to buy into their stuff. And by the 4 things that I said earlier, that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to the customer. And when I think that's the best thing that I've had so far, and I put it on the brand's story sometimes, is just feedback from people. And it's not to like G up. It's not to G up my own ego. It's literally just to be like, some customer the other day put like a proper like really nice message, like really heartfelt, and it makes running the brand all that much worth it, if you get what I mean. Like it's so nice to see and makes you want to just keep on doing it.
A question I have is, you were talking about doing your research and that sort of thing. Would you say that the knowledge that you gained by working in the industry already allowed you to have some sort of advantage over someone that wanted to do this from scratch? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think you gained some knowledge there?
Suppliers or
Yeah.
Well, like I found all my own suppliers on my own. I didn't take from like any that I knew in the fashion industry. That again, that's not a very good business practice. You shouldn't be doing that.
Sure.
But like, just from being within it, I would definitely have some advantages on people. But then that's why I'm saying do your research, because then if you look into things, you can. It's all about learning, isn't it? And just from being on that job day to day, I was learning. I wouldn't say just because you don't work in fashion doesn't mean you shouldn't start a brand. Like some of the most successful people that I know in fashion, or like with brands, don't particularly come from a fashion background.
I think you see with quite a few people that start businesses, they go out into the big wide world and they get a craft, right? Be it buying or on my side, kind of development and coding, on Josh's side, like sales and advertising. And then I suppose when the time comes, you feel ready because you've got that experience behind you, haven't you? Such that you feel confident to take the step. There's not many people you see just kind of start a business straight off the bat, although there obviously are some, but you kind of need a few years of honing your craft, I would say.
Yeah, because I could have maybe started this brand a few more years ago. I wish I had, like, really looking back at it, but I don't think I would have done it without building the confidence within working within these industries that I have.
Definitely. And the good thing now as well for people starting is technology has just become so much easier to use. Everything from managing a CRM system to setting up a website with Shopify. We should always give Shopify a heads up when we do these podcasts. So a lot of that headache has all been automated and taken out of your hands, right? But, one thing we all do have to do is advertising. Should we get into advertising?
Love to.
The bane of our lives, Josh. Instagram, Facebook, making reels, which we love doing. Talk to us, about what does kind of Solace's advertising strategy look like currently, and then where do you think you can improve it and in the future?
Yeah, so majority of it at the moment is through Instagram and Google Ads. I've also been dabbling in a little bit of TikTok, but I haven't really built the TikTok profile that much. I've never really focused on it, but from anyone I talk to, they always say it's mad how much you can get out of it. So I'm still learning about that. I'm just trying to learn each day by it. But like Instagram ads is definitely very beneficial. See a lot of stuff come through from people just, the amount of times you're flicking through stories and something comes up and catches your eye. Like, it's going to work for you.
How did you actually physically learn how to do all of these things? Like, was it just one day you logged into Facebook ads, you just set up a campaign and just went for it? Were you watching YouTube videos? Were you on Skillshare? How did you actually physically do it? Because I know Jake and I, when we first started, we were like, we had no experience of actually doing the actual physical act of creating an ad. And I'm always interested to know how people actually get into it, because it's not a simple thing.
Definitely not. You can easily just pour your money down the drain. And we've spoken to brands and they feel that way. I think there was a big survey went out that said like 70% of small businesses find Facebook ads really challenging to actually get any ROI off of. So it's clearly a problem there.
Yeah, like I've just done a TikTok ad and I feel like I got nothing out of it. Like I feel like I got a load of views and I was like, cool, people are viewing it, but no one's really doing anything about it. I mean, I won't lie, like I still feel like I'm not winging it with ads, but I'm learning as I'm going and just trying to like not be stupid with it, especially with money. If you're testing something, just test a little bit at a time.
We've discussed this before. What about GQ? Tell me about that. Was it worth it?
Still to find out, really. It's kind of hard. It's one of those things that's hard to quantify because it's not digital, is it? It's a physical magazine, which like I'm so gassed at it's actually in the magazine. It's such a weird thing to see your brand and something as cool as GQ, if you know what I mean. Like you're growing up, kind of, you see it always in your WH Smith and all that. I actually went into a WH Smith to find it and like pick it up physically, which is cool. But it's hard to see like how many people are actually going from that advert in there to actually go into the site and it's hard. So the issue's out right now with Piers Brosnan on the cover. James Bond himself.
Is he wearing a Solace t-shirt on the cover?
No, I think I'd be in major debt if it was anything like that in the advertisers.
So in terms of, we're talking about growth now, right? We're talking about advertising. In terms of when you're looking at the future and you're looking at what you want to do with the brand, do you have like a clear idea of, I want to take the brand and I want it to be this in this time period? Or is it something where you're just a bit more freeform and you're like, I'm just going to go with the flow and see how the brand performs and it will become what it becomes?
Yeah, like when I started it, it was on the side of my full-time job. But as it's done much better than I thought it was going to do in its first few months. Like it kind of surprised me, and again, quite humbling. I was like, oh, like I just didn't think it was going to do this well. It's kind of, I'm just going as it's going. I don't have like this massive like 5-year plan. Like I want it to be a bricks and mortar store. I mean, that's a goal for me. I'd love a bricks and mortar store in the future. I'd absolutely love that. But like I'm just kind of letting it go as it goes, and all I'm trying to do is just make sure that it's going in the right direction.
What's been your biggest challenge? Like, what have you found just incredibly difficult at starting the brand, and have you managed to sort of overcome it, do you think?
I'd probably say getting everything ready for launches and just making sure that everything's there and on time. And fashion's such a seasonal thing, and right now I'm working on a jacket that I'd love to get in before November or December time. And it's just, I found that very challenging, especially the first one. I remember even on launch day, on the first day, my tram crashed on the way home.
Oh, no.
And I was stuck. And I was like, oh, I need to get home and sort like stuff out and get it all ready and make sure that the website's ready. And it's stressful things like that. Things go wrong in like products as well. Like maybe colours aren't 100% right, or fabrics are a bit off, or there's marks or stuff like that.
Question I have for Tom is, do you manage to switch off? Like Jake and I, right, we're almost like 24/7 like thinking about this. Like obviously we have other responsibilities, but it's like I find it really difficult to sort of switch off, especially when it's your own brands. And for you, because you are doing so much, it must be really, really difficult to just have a moment where you're just able to relax, surely.
Yeah, like my girlfriend will tell me a lot to be like, just put the phone down for a little bit. You don't need to be doing it, especially on like a weekend and that. Which is totally right. Like you do need to like chill out and really like, it's a job at the end of the day. And not everyone works 24/7. Like you need to have that little bit of downtime to make the work time even better, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I do find that quite challenging because I'm always just thinking of stuff. I'm always like, oh maybe like future collections that are in my head right now and I'm in the midst of doing. I'm like, maybe I should just change this little bit about it, or maybe I should go with this, and then I'll look up on Google. I'm like, I've just thought about this. I'll go and check it out and see what I can find about it. And yeah, that's a struggle for me, I think.
It's interesting, mate. Color is so key for you, right? And I love the colors. When we first introduced the brand, we talked about the cobalt blue, we talked about the forest green, and those are the two colors that we had initially on the site. Explain to me how you got to the other colors that you're working on, and what is it that about the chocolate color that you like so much?
I mean, I think it's a weird thing with running the brand. You got to try and not be selfish. You got to think about the customers that you're actually trying to sell to. Because cobalt blue is something I wouldn't actually wear, if I'm fairly honest. But it's been really popular for me, and I can see why. I think I'm just not that big of a bright dresser. But like when I did like a little snippet of a cobalt blue hoodie, I had so many people like, "Oh, when's this coming out?" and everything, which is really cool to see. But I've just brown. It's for the time that we're coming into those colder months and pairing about with the forest green, and it's just a favourite of mine. I just think it can go with so many things. Go with the air crews, and so the cap is coming out tonight, but we'll be doing a t-shirt, a bag, and a beanie with it. I'm sourcing a brown hoodie at the moment and a brown tee, just to, flip the colours a little bit, and yeah, just can't wait for more and more to come from it.
Yeah, so make sure you get ready for that drop. That chocolate drop is going to be really, really good.
Chocolate drop, love the pun.
Yeah, I've had a sneaky peek. So thank you for sharing that, Tom. But I can't wait for everyone to see it. Whenever we upload pictures that you've sent us, people do absolutely love the collections. So I think I'm really excited to see what people think of this new chocolate color.
Yeah, because So alongside the chocolate stuff, we're basically coming into October. We're going to be doing like the biggest launch we've done for the brand so far. We'll be going from like 7 options on site to about 22, 23. So there's definitely a big bump up in what's going on. So we've got like 2 new hoodies coming, joggers, shorts, 2 new tees, 4 new beanies, 2 new caps, 2 new bags. So we're just trying to I think the main thing I try to do with the shoot when I show more of the shoot stuff is that I'm trying to show that it's a brand that can really be like mixed with itself. Like I've been, the cobalt blue matches with the chocolate brown so nicely, and the forest green goes back to the chocolate. I just want it to be a brand that people would love to wear kind of head to toe. Yeah, I'm really excited for everyone to see what we're working on. And also I've got like you saying about why do you choose the colours? And like I said, selfishly, it's me. Like I just love these colours, but I just thought we haven't even done like a whole black collection yet. Just as very simple. A lot of brands literally just do black and white, and I am working on that now just to make it a very simplistic collection. But it's one that's still going to look like Solace, if you get what I mean. Just because the colour's not exactly there, it's still going to look sleek and minimalistic, and the quality is going to be there as usual.
Is that a bit of an exclusive, mate? You've given us there.
Just a tiny one. I've had a lot of people ask for it. That's what I like to do as well. I like to listen to the customer. I love hearing people's feedback, and I get so many I'll be like, oh, I've not thought about that. I've not, and I didn't know that many people wanted it. If you get what I mean. There's so many people asking for black, and I was like, oh yeah, it's just the most simplistic colour for everyone to wear. Yeah, so that will be coming soon.
Should we give another sneak peek, Josh? Is it a good time right now?
Yeah, why not? I think I think what we'll do is we'll say this. Tom and us, Jake and Josh, we've had a conversation, and we will have something very exciting soon.
That's enough, I think.
I don't think we can say anymore.
I don't think you can say anymore, yeah.
So you've got to just wait and see. It's going to be something that you're going to want to buy.
Perfect.
We'll leave it at that. And Tom, I'm so excited, mate. Are you excited?
Very excited. Just you guys coming to me from the start when you said you wanted to stock Solace. You guys are so passionate about what you guys do, and you also just very friendly people. Get on with you really great. So yeah, really excited to work together. Can't wait to show everyone what it's going to be.
Yeah, working together with Tom, the genius, the most stylish man I know. I couldn't have thought of anyone better to work with, to be honest, mate. So
I only work with these guys so they can put my ego up even bigger than this.
That's what we do. That's what we do. I'm so excited to tell people about it, and we are very much on a path to creating something very, very exciting. So stay tuned for that. So, mate, I want to go back now and talk about your background in the fashion industry, right? Because we've talked about quite a lot about the brand, and I think we've talked a lot about what you've learned along the way. And I think your time in that industry has actually really helped you and helped grow the brand. But what was it like working in one of these big companies, and how did you sort of grow, going from a graduate to progressing your career?
Well, fast. It's called fast fashion for a reason. Like, it's ridiculously fast. When I worked at Menace, which was the menswear for Misguided, we only had a small little team for that, about 7-8 of us, but everyone was just so good at the job, and we made the brand grow like great numbers in a year. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of invaluable to the brand. The stuff I've learned about fabrics, their fit, working with garment technologists about it, or working with my buyers. Shout out to Katrina and Lily for teaching me the way. Yeah, and also design, like Abby, who was our designer on Menace, was incredible. Like, super, super talented. Like, every time she showed me something, I was like, that's unreal. Like, I can't wait to bring that to life. I think just seeing product go from A to B, from conception to fully having the physical thing in your hand, and also seeing it on the site. I think that's definitely been one of the big pluses for me, is being able to see the full process of how a product is made and what you have to go through to get it to be customer ready. Yeah, I really I was at Misguided for like 4 years, and I went to Boohoo Man for like a few months, and I've actually just stopped fast fashion now, just because I want to concentrate on Solace at the moment.
How did you find that first job? Like, how did you actually get it? Like, we discussed on the last podcast, we were saying how difficult it was to get our first thing. How did you do it?
Like, as you guys said, really difficult, because I left uni in 2017, moved back home, as a lot of people do when they leave uni. Some people don't have something set up straight away. Moved back home, worked at a Booker's. Do you know what a Booker's is? Like a wholesale place. It's basically where like restaurants and cafes go and get all their supplies from. So I was like stacking the shelves there for about 4 months, up until like Christmas time. Proper terrible, dead end retail job. And then I got offered like a little marketing internship in Nottingham. Lived with my mates for like 2 months doing that, and then I was unemployed for like 4 months. And in that, when I was unemployed, I was actually selling on Depop to pay the bill. Not pay the bill, so I was living with my parents, but I paid a little bit to them and everything. And just, I think that's where fashion kind of became a bit of a bigger thing for me, because I was like I've got no money, but I'd like to buy nice clothes. So I was just like kind of flipping and selling and doing all that. Did quite well. Like Depop, I still used to say, and have a decent page on there. And then it was the role that I went for in Misguided was actually a trainee merchandiser, not a buyer. Merchandiser is more the numbers route, more dealing with stock levels and getting things on time in terms of delivery dates and all that. I was a trainee merch for 1 year, and then I got the opportunity to do buying, but on menswear side, because I wasn't that interested in doing buying for women's wear, because I don't wear women's wear. Well, only on specific days, but but
we've all done it, mate. There's nothing embarrassing about that.
Yeah,
we've all done it.
Not
skinny jeans back in the day was my weakness.
Yeah, like actually, you know what? I bought a women's cardigan about 2 days ago, and it's my favorite thing I bought this year. It's beautiful. Like,
come on, we're all big strong guys here. We can all admit that we've worn some women's clothing.
Sometimes the girls get the better fits, the better colours, especially in shoes. Like, they get some really nice things that boys just can't get their feet into. So yeah, no shame in it at all.
You pulled off a very nice bag recently as well, right?
My girlfriend's bag, because it looked good. What else can you say?
Picture coming up right here. Yeah.
It wasn't like a straight A to B path in fashion, so I did merch and realised it wasn't for me, and then got the opportunity to work in menswear on the buying side, which I still didn't know loads about, but it was definitely more what I wanted to do. I was very product orientated, and yeah, it was the best decision I made. It's really fast paced as well, so if you don't get up to speed with it, you can get left behind. But But that's also another reason why I've kind of gone away from fast fashion now, is because I don't really like the aspect of how little time and effort gets put into the products sometimes. Like, I feel like you should really put more emphasis on quality, and things can get missed in that environment. But that's just the business model that they have. I'd rather be a little bit slower and a bit more, down this. I wouldn't ever bank my brand as like a sustainable brand. Like, that's not the main key selling point of it. But it's definitely something that we, all of our jersey products are organic cotton, and everything's sourced, ethically.
Yeah, sustainability is a key thing for us, and one of our difficulties on the website, in that we've got to have various different retailers on, and they may have varying levels of sustainability. But what do you, specifically with Solace, what sustainability sort of practices are you looking at? Like, how are you trying to make the brand as sustainable as possible, and also how are you trying to keep the quality up to make sure that people can wear it for longer?
Doing the due diligence and checking with your suppliers where they're getting their stuff from, and you'll find that the jersey that the hoodies and the joggers and that are all from Portugal, and all organic cotton. I'm hoping when you pick up the actual product in person, you'll see the quality.
We've thought about this in the past, and it's a bit of a murky old world, the supplier world, right? When you were first buying your collection, obviously you were like, I've got X amount of money that I can invest in this. How did you decide on like how many units you were going to ship? How did you decide on what margins you were happy with? Like, how did you literally go from going, I know this industry a little bit, to going, right, I've got a product and it's on the website right now, and this is how much it costs?
Knowing your budgets and working to a good margin. Like Jake said before, you're not looking to make that profit when you start a business all that much. Like, you're just making sure that it's going and ticking and doing what it needs to do. But it's definitely, it took a long time. I've got so many Excel sheets where I've got my cost prices versus my different t-shirts and where they're coming from and what they give me. But at the end of the day, when it came to t-shirts, I kind of went, I'm going to get less profit from this and everything, but the t-shirt's unrivaled. And that's the thing that I've got from people, like customers. They've been like, I had some guy the other day say, this is like my favourite t-shirt now. It's like my new favourite t-shirt for fit and quality. I'm like, bang on, that's exactly what I wanted. So, yeah, when you get messages like that, it kind of puts the money aspects to the side a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. So tell us in very simple terms what you've got coming up and what people should be excited about.
So Chocolate Cap is launching tonight, which is the 9th of October. Yep. So these will be on site when the podcast is up. But like I said before, I've got runs of the Cobalt collection coming, a t-shirt and a hoodie on the way for that, a new cap. I've got a new collection called the Dove collection, which is a little tiny go at the graphic side of things, which is in like a lovely heather grey tracksuit with joggers and shorts and hoodie with a bit of forest green on there. Beanies for those winter months, because who can go wrong with a beanie. Black collection will be coming sometime in the future as well, just working on that. I'm calling it the Onyx collection because Onyx is like a black and white mixture, and it's going to be black and white, very simplistic, but will be top quality. And I'm also working on something with my brother. As I kind of touched on before, that my brother's an artist. We're kind of working together to get like a crazy graphic that will be coming hopefully before the end of the year. So we're working on that.
We're going to shout out Ollie. It's Ollie, right?
At Art of Ollie on Instagram. So yeah, just got a fair few things ticking along. I am working on a jacket, which hopefully should maybe be out before the end of the year as well. Just working on samples for that. Can't wait to get that out to the world, because that's a bit more of a bigger project when you get into jackets and stuff. It's a bit more technical.
So, mate, tell everyone that's listening now, because I'm sure a lot of people will be wanting to find your stuff now. Where can they find you on Instagram, and what's the website as well?
So the Instagram is at solace.clo, so CLO at the end. The TikTok is the same for that as well, which I'm trying to delve into the TikTok world a little bit. The website is www.solaceclothing.com.
Love it. And we very much recommend everyone to go on Aveste and also check out the collection, because it's very much on there. And mate, thanks so much for joining us on this. Like, I've loved learning a little bit more about the brand and letting people understand a bit more about your journey, which certainly wasn't A to B simple. So, mate, it's been absolutely super interesting. So, thanks so much for joining us.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Been a good chat.
Don't worry. So yeah, for everyone listening now, just want to say thanks so much for listening. If you did like this, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel or give us a like. And also, a question, we always like to ask people a question on the end of these videos. So a question is, if you go and have a look at the Solace collection, what is your favourite piece? Because I don't think I could choose, but I'm interested to see what people say. So yeah, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.